What's up? I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Hi, everyone. Okay, I'm hearing some feedback. Hold on. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Hey, hi, True Seeker. It's been a while. Hey, everyone. Woo! Lord, there's so much going on right now, isn't it? We have a lot to talk about. I apologize about being late. I had to get some of my notes ready. And how are you doing? It's so good to see some people that were waiting. And close all this stuff. Making sure that I had what I was going to discuss today. So, yes, today I have to look at the time. I'm a little bit tired, but I am here. Thank you very much. So it's been absolutely busy at my job. It's really hard for me to come on. I've been watching the news of so many things that have been happening since like starting in February through today, which today is, I have to look, it's April 21st. It's on a Tuesday. And I just wanted to come on and talk about a few things on here. So, hi to everyone. Welcome. This is Kim Ainari. You have landed at Paradigm Theories, and we are going to talk about some interesting things today. We'll see if anyone shows up in the chat. I've had to do it around this time. Had so much going on this morning, and I may have a little bit of noise background coming in. We'll see how long this video lasts. I try not to make them too long, but because it's been a while, I really wanted to come on and talk about some interesting topics. So I think I'm prepared in this corner. There was things, I don't know if we had a slight earthquake. I do have the earthquake app. Some things were just flying off my shelves. And I was like, well, this is really strange in my house. And I was like, this is really strange. I don't know why that happened. So I have my coffee, which is cold because I need to kind of wake up. I have some water. I got my little fan. And so if you hear all of these noises and like that, my little fan, in case I get hot, please forgive me, as they say. So, to be honest with everyone, we know that as I try to get into what I wanted to discuss. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about was Artemis II. Yeah, True Seeker. Thanks for joining me. So so I had to write down because I'm going to be discussing a lot and I didn't want to lose like some information on some of the topics that I was going to discuss today. So I hope, first of all, everyone is doing well. I'm going to get into that. So Artemis II, historic flight around the moon. Incredible. And so did y'all watch it? I don't follow NASA, but I decided to follow NASA on YouTube just for actually for those 9 days. I think the 10th day that they splashed down, I had to be at work or something was going on, and I really didn't see that, but I saw it. So Artemis 2, right, had their historic flight around the moon. It started on April 1st through the 11th of 2026. And it was crewed by 4 crew, well, 3 crew men and 1 crew woman. So they did a flyby around the moon. And so the crew members, I'll name them, was Victor Glover. He was the first African American man to do that. We had Christina Koch, and that is a German name. I actually there's relatives with that last name actually from Germany. So when people say Koch or Koch, that's not how the Germans pronounce it. So it's a little bit offensive, but for purposes of this YouTube channel, yeah. Yes, they did, Paul. Yes, they did. Was the first woman. Yes. And then we had Jeremy Hansen, a Canadian, and he was one of the 3 crew members. And the last one was Commander Reed Wiseman. And so, it was interesting that they shot around the backside of the moon. I really liked the photo where, and I didn't write down who took the photo, or it could have been a video actually, of the moon. Large, I think it was a photograph. I don't know if they did any videos. I don't know if they took videos. I don't know. They all had iPhones, right? Which is interesting to me. And Tim Cook just stepped down as CEO of Apple, which is interesting as well. But anyway, it was a picture of the large moon. They were behind the moon, and Earth was like just on the side of it. I mean, an amazing photo. That's your current wallpaper. Yeah, I thought it was like, whoa. To have these spectacular pictures. I was just like, wow, how historic, and for people to be with them, humanity, those that were able to watch from when it took off from Cape Canaveral over there in Florida, and it landed over there on the California coast, San Diego area, right? So you have one or the other. So we won't go into discussion on why that is or how that is, but so when they first started, they were talking about a toilet problem. I can't imagine the radiation conspiracy. Yeah, but did they have any? I think I wrote that down. The detectors. I don't know if they did have any detections on the outside of that. Their the the Artemis II itself. I don't know, but it is radiation. There, of course, there's the Van Allen belts. So that has been proven for decades, right? And so we will have to see if any of them get cancer. I don't know if I'll be around to see all that. I don't know. Can humans survive going through? I mean, they went above low Earth orbit, and so a lot of people will say that was debunked, just like you said, Truth Seeker, of that nobody died when you go through or above low Earth orbit and you enter the Van Allen belts. And so, we have Earth is protected, right, from the sun, right? And it's Earth, and people talk about that all the time, that people that get skin cancer, and yes, you can be dark skinned and still get skin cancer. I have my sister-in-law she is Caucasian, and she has gone through skin cancer. She's in her 70s now, numerous times. She's still alive, and it's annoying for her, but she really has to protect her skin. And we know the sun, our Father, the sun, is powerful. And for anybody that has to work out in the sun, or you're gardening out in the sun, or you're in the sun, you're in the water on the beach, you have to protect yourself. So So it was really interesting to see all that, and very historic. And I think they're getting ready or in progress for Artemis III. So, and all of these crew members have been with NASA for quite a long time. It's not like this was their first rodeo. Some have even, I think all of them actually have been in the ISS, the International Space Station. And so they were well aware of what they were getting into, and how historic. I tell you, Christina, the female, I love her. I thought she was so enthusiastic about, well, they all were, but I don't follow any of them, but just watching her and how she was just stoked to just like she was just enamored with everything around her and just stoked, and historically her accomplishment. And be interesting to see where they all go from here, and what NASA plans for Artemis 3 and other adventures. Um, I know that we have Blue Origin. That's Jeff Bezos. That's his company. I'm sure he wants to get out of low Earth orbit and actually have enough gumption and people to help his rockets get to the moon. Of course, we have Elon Musk and SpaceX. So there's all these competitors out there, and for those that are younger than me, the world's going to be different for you. Don't know if I'll live past 40 years from here. I don't know. I really don't think I want to be that old. But for those that are younger, um, you're going to see a different world. And the only thing I have a problem with, I love the moon. And I think that I don't want to be able to see a whole bunch of buildings and stuff from here on Earth, visually look up to see things that are man-made on the moon. It would take my, I don't know. Maybe they'll do it behind the moon. But awesome that they were several impacts in a short period of time, which was a good, yeah, they were. They weren't lingering in there, and that's the way it should be. Who in the heck? It's like somebody that if you get injured and you have to go through an x-ray machine or a CAT scan, I mean, if you, an MRI, you kind of want to limit your body into being with all that stuff radiating and all that on you throughout each year. So you always have to protect yourself, know your health history, and please learn about x-ray, getting x-rays, too many of those a year, and MRIs, too many. It just depends upon what you need those for. I've had my own health issues, so I can really talk about going through CAT scans and MRIs and x-rays, and how pretty much doctors these days kind of limit, unless it's necessary for your health, for you to have so many of those in your life in a year, within a year or a couple months is what I'm trying to say. Yes. So I don't know where 3i Atlas is. Like, I'm sure, I think it has until May. I haven't really been on Avi Loeb or anything. I think it's lingering still, or maybe it went out of our orbit, and it came in, said hi, left some spewing stuff, and said, yeah, it's been great. I'm kind of bored. It's time for me to leave you guys and go off and beyond Earth and around our planet. So I'm not really sure where 3i Atlas is at, though I would like to figure that one out. That would be great. So so that's very historic. I wanted to bring Artemis II up and give a high five to the well, hello, Alexander. It's nice to let me see, instead of me bending down, I do have contacts on. Let me make sure my volume is down on my iPad. I kind of sneak that in here. So I know who's all in here. But welcome everyone that's in the chat. Hello. Tonight is the last night to see Pan-STAR comet with naked eye in dark areas. Ooh, been a minute. Hope you're well. Same to you. Same to you, Alexander. It's good to see you. Well, I have do you guys that app that actually it and I think I have it that shows the star, is it the Star Walk or something? And I need to have the notifications on because that's really interesting how it will tell you what planets are in and around Earth, and it talks about the comets and things like that. So I really love that. I think that in so many ways that it's good to have different sources for those that are interested in things like that. I'm not uh, all that knowledgeable about all the stars and everything, but it's kind of fun to you have nothing to do and like, okay, what's in our galaxy at this time. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I think a lot of people and there is so much light source here. I cannot see our Milky Way. I can see the moon all the time and feel the sun. And without having a telescope, when I'm on different astronomy or things like that, dealing with planets, if they're close enough for me to see in my naked eye, you can visually see like Jupiter and Mars when they're in conjunction and things like that. And I would have to drive like 40 minutes outside of Las Vegas in order to just get into that where there's no light source. And so I think in so many ways that would be an adventure. I love that. What's up, Grant? Hi. Yes, Truth Seeker's here. Grant is here. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I know it's been a while. We've been talking about Artemis II. Artemis II, historic flight around the moon. Oh, my goodness. Boy, oh, boy. So, so we'll wait around for Artemis 3 with such a successful flight. Just like I was telling Truth Seeker and everyone in the chat that, how historic is that? How historic is that? Wow, we have really advanced, haven't we? NASA, and we have to really, I give a high five to NASA, and I just hope that they continue. And it's for me, as old as I am, to be seeing all these things that are happening on Earth and off Earth, our planet, and in between our planet is amazing. Let me see. Yes, I know, Grant. It's when you think about, how far we have come with there's so many advancements in getting these rockets, these capsules, the ISS, the International Space Station, and all of these progressions that we've had throughout the years and decades. It's taken a long time, and we want everyone to be safe. Like, when you catch a flight and you go out of the country, these planes are so advanced, but I just think it's so historic, and that is a blessing in itself. All right, guys. So I'm going to move on to the next. What do you think about possible life on Mars? And the thing is that they have to have a jump off point at some. Okay, so if we have something on the moon, right, and from the moon, I think to Mars is not that long of a journey. I don't know how many days or weeks it would be. I don't think it's years from the moon to Mars, but it's so interesting that how they use the gravitational pull of certain planets to kind of get them around there without having to use fuel and things and all of that. And so I think that will happen. I don't know if that will be in my lifetime, but you never know. We are advancing. I think humanity is advancing in all kinds of ways, and maybe. But I'm going to save that topic for last. You know, the wonderful scientists that are out there doing things that we have no idea what they're doing, and then just kind of letting a few things trickle out to amaze humanity, I think is awesome. So I think that, you know, can you imagine if I live for another 10 years or 15 years, we are just going to be more advanced. There's going to be more things happening for humanity, and we're just going to be in awe. So I love it all. I love it all, Grant. I'm here for it. Like I said, you know, I'm willing to wish the best on everything that we do for advancing humanity, and I think that is something that we should really all be wanting at this time. Of course, Grant. So the next thing, let me see what I wrote, because I wrote a lot of stuff, guys. I had to look. I'm on X, like some of the people here, and here we are, like, into these. They're saying these 11 missing scientists. And it's really the heart of my my live stream today, is to really go into these missing scientists. Is that Grant's? Yes, it is, Truth Seeker. That's our Grant. That's our Grant. That's our Grant. He's here. So, all right. This to me started with McCasland, right? General retired McCasland. And I think that there was some things going on with him. And let me see if I can, you know, let me tell you something. McCasland, very interesting man, right? Who had all of these, oh boy, you know, he was a retired general. And so he's been missing for several weeks, right? So this is, he was over there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I wonder what happened. I kind of went into depth on my last video, and I just think this man had plans. I think he was, when you like that, his wife wasn't, I'm talking about General McCasland, this this man that worked for, you know, he was involved in a lot of things. And so let's just, you know, when we think about him, and he's been missing for, gosh, what, a month and something. February, let's see, I'm looking now, it's February 27th that he disappeared. And he just disappeared. I mean, what was going through his mind? Because his wife, who you know, she saw him, and this man seemed like, when you take a revolver with you, he took his revolver, a leather holster, and a red backpack, the sheriff said. And so when that isn't, because some of these people, the 11 missing scientists were not all scientists, guys. Okay. Some of them just worked for, I think it was in Los Alamos, and some worked for the nuclear laboratory in Kansas City. So not all of them, not all of these scientists, I mean, not all of these people missing were scientists, is what I want to say. So, yes. Hi, Shelly. What's going on, my love? So I think there's some misconception about these scientists that some of them were not. They just worked there. So I really think McCasland was the one that really jump started a lot of UFO. You know, this is us, guys. This is why Trump talked about these missing scientists. It's because of us and our beliefs. And yeah, he, you know, this guy was associated, even though his wife was saying she didn't. I'm talking about the retired General McCasland, even though she didn't think that he was really involved in anything having to do with UFOs. So, all right. So we have this, the disappearance or the missing or these 11 people, some scientists not, even some unalived themselves. One of the guys that they are talking about, one was a cancer researcher. And I thought it was really interesting because of the fact that that for not for so much of people kind of like trying to put everybody in a box and saying this is the problem, that's why we're all scientists. But there was, I think there was one guy that was a cancer researcher, and so I don't know why they keep associating him with 11 missing, but anyway. And so some of these people, the three that were not scientists, had access to like the Los Alamos, the nuclear laboratory in Kansas City, and I don't think they were involved with JPL, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So let's talk about Amy Eskridge, because she's a newbie. Yeah, so Amy, now this is an interesting story about her. And I think that for some reason, she was the CEO of her own company in Huntsville, Alabama. And we got to understand that NASA has headquarters. I don't know if it's in all 50 states, but she was associated with that. Okay. And so I think for her, there was some kind of, I don't really know what happened. I think she, like, maybe she had some mental anguish going on. And when you pick up and go, you pick up and go. And people are like, well, there's cameras all over. How come we can't find these people? I can't answer that, because look at General McCasland. That man just walked out of his house. You would think there would be cameras all over the place. Somebody, like, come on, in his neighborhood. I mean, do they have any videos of him, of General McCasland, walking down the street? I'm trying to figure that one out, you know, and how some of these people that were scientists just left. And where's the videos of them leaving their homes? There are some, but then they just, I don't know, they just disappear. I find that really interesting. Am I frozen? Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it back on? I'm gonna have to ask the chat. I might still be frozen. Sorry, guys. Okay. Hope everybody can hear me now. So we have the cancer researcher guy, we have Amy, and we have this last guy. I think his last name was Garcia. I'm off the top of my head, and he just worked at a facility that was associated in, with the laboratory, and so people are kind of jumbling all up together. They all work together, and they're all missing scientists, and they're not. So we had that MIT professor too. That was a really interesting case. And I wrote down some notes on him. He was working on some kind of plasma mechanics, which is interesting to me. Well, he was smart, but he was gunned down by this deranged person that the day before killed 2 college students and injured 9 in a mass shooting at Brown University, which is in Providence, Rhode Island. And so you have all of these different scenarios of people that may or may not be associated with missing scientists and UFO, things like that. But you have like 5 people that were tied to NASA's JPL, or that Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And we do know that General McCasland was actually involved in that. And General McCasland, who he disappeared on February 27th of this year. So, and that was before the Iran war, which is interesting. And so we can, the cancer guy was, I want to say that some of them just had some different things going on in their lives. And so some did unalive themselves, and a body was found. So when we talk about that, okay. Hey, Grant, thanks. I kind of, when we talk about those things, it just makes me think that there was a lot happening, like people trying to decipher, is it really 11 scientists? So what I want to talk about, there were some of them that it's kind of creepy to me. And I don't know if that was, let me see if I can find it on my, I want to talk about this Melissa Cassius gal. And yeah, she was one of the scientists. And so Melissa Cassius, Taos, New Mexico woman, last seen walking eastbound on a highway in Talpa on June 26th of last year. And she was 53. I think she was going through a lot with her family. And this is interesting. I don't want to read the whole thing. Her family doesn't understand why she has, well, first of all, where is she? And why she left. So this Melissa gal worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory. It's a research lab in Los Alamos, New Mexico. And her husband also worked there. And the husband was saying that she took me to work, dropped me off, and I told her I needed the car by around 11. Now, this disappearance, like I said, guys, was on June 26th of last year. It really hasn't been that long. And she worked at the laboratory. She said she'd have it. She told her husband she'd have the car back by 11 o'clock. I don't know why they just have one car. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure. Melissa, this is Melissa Cassius, told her husband she was going to another location within, they call it LANL. So Los Alamos National Laboratory. So acronym for that is LANL. And the husband was saying that was the last time that he spoke to her. He didn't think of anything of it. you're both working at the same facility and someone is saying, I'm going to go to another one. Okay. I don't know what their security clearances were. Some people have different security clearances. So just because you have some, maybe your wife or your husband can walk across or drive to another facility, could be less than 5 miles. And because her security clearance or his is higher than yours. So, it just depends. And I can say that because I have a relative that has a higher security clearance to someone that he sits next to. It's really interesting to me. So, so the husband didn't know that Melissa returned to the house, so she lied. And the daughter was there, and where they live from the okay, no worries, no worries, Shelly, you're fine. That when she returned to the house, this is Melissa, the mom, the daughter Sierra was there, and she spoke with Sarah, who said she woke up around 7:30 that morning and heard her mother come into the house about 15 minutes later. I was like, what are you doing home? She said she had forgotten her badge. Okay, that's a red flag. That is a red flag for me. I have a relative, I'm not going to say, who works at Nellis Air Force Base. And if this person left their badge, they would have to show all kinds of ID or whatever to get onto that base. There is no way they're going to drive all the way back home to pick up their badge. I have to have a badge for my job. I haven't forgotten it, but I have to go through security. I would not be driving all the way back home to get my badge. So that is suspicious, but because I don't know how old her daughter is, her daughter probably wouldn't have thought anything like what I would be thinking, like, what are you doing here? You tell me, I would know that you'd be lying. Okay. So, yeah. So right here it says you got to show your badge to get into these high security clearance, wherever, laboratories, NASA, whatever, you have to have a badge. And you have to, in order to get your security clearance, you have to take tests. And you have to take them every few years because sometimes you are upgraded within your position and you can't work on secretive things unless you pass your security test. And you have to do that, or else you're not going to be working on whatever you're working on. I mean, I could just say that I know that. So I was told that. Okay. So now she's telling her daughter, Melissa, that she's going to work from home, or she's going to call out for that day after arriving home that morning. Nothing was unusual to her daughter, Sierra. So right when I was leaving, I'm thinking Sarah was getting ready to go to school. I always hug her bye. I said, I love you. We did that. That's normal. Okay. Wow. Around 12:30, the mom, Melissa, picks up a sandwich at Subway sandwich for Sierra's lunch and dropped it off at the cafe where Sarah works in Taos Plaza, a business center in Taos. So I'll take that back. Obviously, Sierra must be a little bit older, maybe out of high school, and she's working at a business center. So Sarah says, this is Sierra, the daughter, says the two spoke briefly, and then she handed her mother a check to drop off at the bank for her. And her mother left. And an email on behalf of investigators confirmed that they did speak at 12:50 p.m. I don't want to read this whole thing, but when 11 a.m. passed, so something happened between she's picking up lunch or whatever, bringing the check. And I think she did deposit the check for her daughter, but the husband is waiting for her because it's past 11 a.m. for the mommy or the wife to pick him up. So the husband tried to reach Melissa after hearing from her boss, but that's interesting. He was trying to figure out why she wasn't back at work or what was going on. And so as I scroll through this article, because it's a very long one and I don't want to read the whole thing, I can put a link. Well, you can just Google Melissa Cassius if you guys really need to see it. The thing that got me, Sierra says she got a text from her father around 1:30 p.m. He was seeing if I was getting in contact with the mom. And I said, this is coming from Sierra. She said, yeah. And can you text her and ask her if I need a ride? This is the husband waiting around for the mom. If I need a ride, hell, I'm at work. I'm tired. I'm trying to get to the house. You're supposed to pick me up, wife. And so the daughter texted her mom, and the mom read the text. And so the husband assumed that she was just going to call him or whatever. The last known sighting of Melissa was approximately 45 minutes later. So a family acquaintance on this noticed her walking eastbound on some highway, or walking eastbound on, they call it NM 518 from Talpa toward Pot Creek. Some really interesting names there. The sighting, which was about 3 miles from the Cassius home, was also captured on security video from a local business. And so she is observed walking and wearing the clothing she was last reported wearing in the Taos Plaza. Melissa's family believes she may have gotten inside a vehicle shortly after she was seen on the video. And investigators described that is a possibility, that they were investigating it. The poor father is calling the daughter. They don't know what happened to her. Still hadn't heard from Melissa. The daughter texted her mom again. I was like, hey, dad's freaking out. Why aren't you here? My text didn't get delivered. So what happened to that woman? Okay. You know, I work someplace that has maybe 5,000 employees. Would one employee that decides to, like, I'm tired of life, I'm tired of my job or wherever situation, I'm just going to leave. How often does that happen? I don't know. I don't know how often that happens. So this woman has still been missing since that time last year, guys, on June 26th. Maybe she did get in a car. Where'd she go? So, and we talked about, I did that last video about Monica Reza. I still have an issue with that because she was somebody that was last seen hiking, and she worked for JPL. She was in the San Gabriel Mountains hiking with 2 yoga friends, or I guess one of them was a yoga instructor. I don't know. She loved yoga. And I don't know if they took a lie detector test. Maybe they did. But if you're coming, she reached the peak of whatever mountain that was and started to come down. There was just 2 of them, and she was kind of lagging behind, and her hiker buddy turned around, saw her, and I guess they waved at one another. He kept going without turning around or anything like that, and she was never seen again. And so for Monica Reza, this is another one. She disappeared on June 22nd of 2025. So now, if you're in the mountains, I can see getting disoriented and lost. Yeah, no wonder, Shelly. You can watch the video later, sweetheart. You have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. You take care. All right. We'll talk soon. All right. Bye. So we have all of these disappearances, and so it was definitely being talked about in the Trump administration, and how this is it a coincidence? Of course, we have other things going on in the world, and we don't know what's going on. So, but I don't know when it's going to get looked into. But hopefully it will, so we can solve some mysteries of some of these people that worked for the nuclear laboratory, Los Alamos, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and see if any or if all of them have a connection to one another, each other, UFOs or whatever, or maybe nothing, and maybe it's just a coincidence, right? Okay, guys. So, what do we know about these 46 UFO videos that I don't know? I'm kind of, are we over it? Are we over, like, when this administration, I know Representative Luna is really trying hard. Burleson is another one, right? These videos of these UFOs to be released to humanity. And when is it going to happen? I don't know. I'm not sure when it's going to happen. Well, we know that President Trump said he reviewed the UFO files, and he finds the documents really interesting. Well, I think I wish he would kind of release the documents to us. And that was he mentioned that on April 17th and April 18th is when this news story came out on NBC News. So President Trump said he recently directed the Secretary of War to begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomenon. And Trump said at a Turning Point USA event in Phoenix. And Trump was saying that the first releases will begin very, very soon. Now, we know there's a lot going on in the world. I know, Grant. As much as we want to, yeah, they should satisfy the news media for what I think. Even, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, we are, a lot of us in the UFO community know about those two, and how they got leaked videos and information about things and declassifying them on their podcast, and how we, for all these years, that we finally have an administration that is, I'm just like, I can't wait, and they should be released and let humanity decide. You're going to have naysayers and people that aren't going to believe in all of that, and that's fine. And then you're going to have people that, man, that looks suspicious, or like, wow, that's kind of something that I had an experience with. I think it should be released to humanity for us to decide. And it doesn't sound like it's coming from, these videos are from China or Russia. Some anomaly, some organic anomaly, is something that is going through time warps and checking us out. I always say I think they're always trying to check us out. But so we all know about Arrow. We all have problems with Arrow, right? Remember Patrick? Remember that guy? So we have these really close people to Trump in his immediate circle. So they're mentioning Pete Hegseth, Um, ooh, sorry, don't want to sneeze. And some other people that are seeing this, and I don't know what the holdup is. And that for us is unfortunate because we want to know, and we have to wait for them to be released. If we get all the requested, this is from Grant Guys, they should satisfy news medias for a while. And I'm agreeing with you. You know, and for all of us that have been waiting, I mean, for how many years? Some of us for decades. And they leak a little bit and then they reel it back, right? Let's just reel it all back, and then we get all hyped up and we talk about a few things on different podcasts and things. We're all trying to figure it all out. And we're all getting up there. I mean, God rest Nick Pope. These are people that have had experiences, and they're making the rounds on conferences and things like that. And it's always cool to meet these people, and because we're what I call the collectives. We are the collectives, and we kind of will be talking about this. We go on podcasts, some of us weekly, some of us have our own channels, YouTube channels, and other social media platforms. And we're really trying to figure it all out. If one is the location of the buried craft, people are going to flock there, maybe, oh yeah, to broadcast a live discovery to the world. People do some silly stuff. Yeah, they do. You're right on that. That I can see happening. And because AI, and there's some really good people that are into graphics and things online. They're really smart. They know how to take a video and just make it seem like, this is the real deal, and it's not. And so, I'm not really on Reddit. I haven't really been on Reddit in maybe 8 or 9 months. I'm on UFO community on Reddit, and I think sometimes our government leaks out things there. And I can't remember if that was on Thomas Fessler's channel of that, or Lou Elizondo, that he was on. I'm like, oh God, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if he said, this was years ago. I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago. Was it Lou that said he was on UFO Reddit or YouTube? Excuse me, it was on YouTube, a video that actually was it classified? And he was like, what? So we do get things leaked, guys. And how are we supposed to know the difference, right? We wouldn't know if it's real or not. But if Lou Elizondo says that he was taken aback, and since I'm bringing up his name, Lou is making the rounds. Who's meeting him up in some of these different cities? I'm just saying. Wouldn't you want to meet the guy? Yeah. So he is actually coming to Vegas, which I love. So there you go. So yes. So if we are just with Artemis II, we got these missing scientists. We have, I didn't see Lou when he was in Philly. Oh, you didn't? Well, I think that God, he was in that motorcycle accident. I follow Lou on Instagram. My Instagram is private. And I follow him, and then he was releasing all of these photos of because he just got in a terrible motorcycle accident a couple of weeks ago, and not wearing a helmet. Hello. And took a really bad fall and crushed some ribs and all of this stuff. Yeah, we want Lou. And it seems like he is going to be, I think he's heading up to San Francisco. And I don't know if that's the end of this month or the first week of May, but and I forget, because I can't remember, but I think his first stop is San Francisco on the West Coast. So he's on the West Coast side. So he's going to be in San Francisco. And I think maybe, I don't know if it's LA or San Diego. And so I think a lot of people that live in California, I'm thinking Jimmy Church and a few other, if there you don't have anything else going on, will be there in the audience or be in support. So yeah. So these are some, I gotta see. But we wish him a speedy recovery. And just remember, if you're ever riding a motorcycle, to please slow down. I mean, they are absolutely insane. Between the Teslas, the trucks, not so much the trucks, but these little Tesla vehicles in and around Las Vegas. I don't know if these are 18-year-olds or whatever. They just drive crazy. I've seen them, and there's somebody behind the wheel, and they are just driving nuts out here. And I would never want to own one. I just think why be wrapped around a battery? I don't know maybe it's safe, but I think we have too much frequency of cell phones and HPs and laptops and all that. Lewis helping to promote helmet awareness, right? I think people that meet up with him maybe should get him a helmet of some kind, maybe something outrageous like maybe tinfoil, some type of new tinfoil helmet of some kind. Because he really needs, even though he's out there, wherever he's out there, we all need to meet up at his bar. I would love to go to his bar. It sounds like it's really a lot of fun out there. And you always have to, I think, with any vehicle, in a car and driving and motorcycles and e-bikes, anything motorized, just slow down, take it easy. Don't assume anything. Be on your guard. I know I have to. I mean, I live in this tourist city of Las Vegas, and some of these drivers, whoa, scare me a little bit, And a lot of Waymo. There's a lot of Waymo cars here too. Yeah, that's happening. And they've done some interesting things in intersections on the Strip when they get confused. So I'm just saying. We still have a long way to go with the cars. Maybe not so much with the Artemis and NASA and stuff, but with those little driverless cars, I'm just saying I would never want to get in a Waymo. I'll pass on that. Thank you very much. So, oh my gosh, it's so good to see everybody. And what's happening on X. So let me see what's breaking down on X right now. Grant, I haven't called you, and Truth Seeker, you're another one. This month and next month are my busy months at my job, and I'm very rarely. Burleson is speaking. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Representative Burleson, man, come on down, as they say. Let me see what's trending right now on X. Anything? Oh, did anybody watch Bob Lazar? Anybody watch that movie? I'm thinking I'm gonna have to wait probably until June when I actually have nothing to do on my days off and watch it. Is it worth it? What do you guys think? Bob Lazar, is it worth? I may have to. I don't even think. I don't know. I think maybe a relative might have Apple TV, or was it? Do you have to pay for it? Still waiting to watch it. Yeah, me too, Grant. Me too. I haven't heard too much. Well, he's making the rounds too. Waiting to watch with my family. Yeah, there was some. He's been on a few podcasts, and Jillian Dory just did a whole 2-hour interview with him, I think last week. So Bob Lazar is still, you know, I think for me, there is some truth to his story. Do believe he was at Area 51. I do feel like there is some other things I have a hard time believing, but I would like to watch his movie and decide for myself. I think that's what it's all about. Just like if they release 46 UFO videos, let's release and humanity decides for itself. Um, not too much is going on. Nothing saying with UFOs. There's some weird. I get when I'm home on my days off, guys, and I kind of want to just catch up. There's so much news going on, and then I'm having, like, my brother will, like, you need to watch this, and you need to get on Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, and there's so many podcasts and channels and things, and it's like, I only have so many hours in a day, and it's usually during the weekday, and it's like it's really hard to watch everything because now it's just it's a lot, right? Right. Yeah, how that is, Grant. And so as I scroll, yeah, I don't see anything. Nothing trending with UFO release. Man, that sucks. Wow. You would think that would be trending someplace. But what is in the news, at least on my feed on X, lawmakers probe deaths of 11 nuclear and space scientists. And I think they need to reel that back because one guy, I can't remember his first name, his last name's Garcia, was not a scientist. He just worked at one of those facilities that we talked about. But I'm glad that is breaking. I'm glad that it's been on Fox News, CNN. I don't watch mainstream news media anymore, but it comes up on my feed. So I'm glad that it's getting word out for that. And I'm glad that it's making the rounds. And hint, hint, the UFO community knew about this months ago, maybe. But it really, for us, I think with McCasland, General Retired McCasland, yeah, Grant, you're spot on. You're spot on. And it has to come out because now people are, they don't really talk about it at my job. I would be the one coming out. And I think it goes over my coworkers because they're not into it like I am. Yeah. Yes. For the missing, vindication for the missing. Yeah, they would. And I just find it interesting for as much as there's cameras all over for some of these people just walking out of their homes, and how they just don't know where they went, or do they? I mean, I mean, everywhere you go, there's cameras. And so some of them they caught walking, and others, I think they just figured out how to disappear. Especially if you're in the military, I think that general probably was trained to do stuff like that. And I don't know, he took a gun. So right there for me, that's a red flag, And so yeah, that's a red flag. So yeah, so that's what's on my feed on X right now. So there's Tim Burchett. Yes. I think Representative Burchett he's really has been making the rounds on News Nation, right? And so he's wanting it to be released. And I really, as much as he's pushing it, and Representative Luna, I'm just loving that. And I just think that But there's some people think that it's sinister. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's sinister because some of them, one of them, they kept saying of the one guy. I don't know if I wrote it down. Um, that there was the cancer research guy, and excuse me, I've had terrible allergies. OMG. For 2 months. And it's probably one of the reasons why I didn't want to get on here. Um, because of the fact that, let me see if I can find out so I can say his name, as they say. Um, it's a really interesting thing what happened. So Anthony Chavez, yes, worked at Los Alamos and he was retired. And he disappeared in May of last year. And he previously, it says here that he worked at Los Alamos. So you wonder if these people are seeing things, and it's just maybe some people said it's demonic, right? Some people will just we already know that humanity, certain people would just be absolutely scared, would call it demonic, and maybe these people that actually have seen the UFOs are just like, I can't take this. This just is too much. And so maybe they're just like, hey, I got to get out of here. And I wonder if so let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on, or give me 3 seconds. I don't know if I can find it. May not be able to find it, but so the cancer, they're linking, one of the scientists was a cancer researcher. I don't think he worked at anything like NASA or JPL. And on the top of my head, my God, when I find his name, he lost his mother from cancer, or not from cancer, he lost his mother. And his mother died, and he and his dad were, I don't know why this isn't picking up. Hold on. So let me see if I can hold on. So anyway, I don't want to, okay. Anyway, so he and his dad were getting the funeral preparations, and then his dad died of a heart attack. So here you're losing two parents, mother's dead, and I don't know what she died from. And then his father, because of too much going on, dies of a heart attack within a day or something. It wasn't even that long. And so he's devastated. This guy is married and he has no kids. And so he just couldn't take it. He goes back home, says something to his wife, I'm paraphrasing, and then he leaves, and then he unalives himself. So they're kind of making these disappearance with people that I don't know why they're bringing him up, but you have some people that were just in situations that have nothing to do with the NASA scientist or the JPL scientist. So I don't know why they're throwing him in there. And they did find his body. They did find the cancer researcher's body. And so I just find that whole thing is whenever all of this comes out more about maybe 10 or maybe 5 of them real scientists and not the other 6 who just maybe were different, had different positions and worked at some of these places. I'll just be really interested to see what happens in the next couple of days or weeks, but it is being looked at, which I love. So, what else, guys? What else? Not too much is going on. I'm just happy that everybody showed up. Thank you so much. I didn't want this to be too long. But to catch up with everyone, congratulations to NASA and Artemis II, yay. And we wanted to discuss these people that are missing, whether it's 10 or 11. I don't know if we'll ever find out. Some have been like the Reza woman has been missing since last summer. She was at San Gabriel Mountains hiking with her yoga buddies. I still wonder what happened to her. They have had extensive people looking for her ever since. And I think that was in June of last year. And I don't know. Well, Grant and I have been talking, if it took a lot for me to get ready to, I had some things I had to do today. And you never know, if something breaks tomorrow, I might be able to make it back on tomorrow. My schedule next week, I don't think I'm really doing anything. So if I don't have really anything to do, is when I can come on and say something. All I can say is that these months are flying, right? Let's see. I'm looking at my calendar for next week. Yeah, it might be a possibility. I might be able to come on maybe on the 29th as we almost end this month. I can't believe how fast these few months have been. That's been absolutely just, really interesting to me. Oh, I wanted to bring up something. You can listen to this, Truth Seeker. Okay, so not last week, but 2 weeks before that, it's been really busy at my job, and I have been extremely tired. So I'm on my sofa out in the living room, and my big screen TV is there. And so I happen to be home on the weekend. I think I took a paid time off or something, and I'm just kind of like in a coma. I'm kind of recuperating because my job is really physical. And so the first thing that happened, my son comes and says he was with his aunt and uncle. They haven't seen him in a while. They're catching up. And he went out to lunch with them, and I thought it was great. And I said, did you have a good time? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, the aunt and uncle said that they're getting ready to leave Las Vegas and move to Florida. I said, really? I said, well, it makes sense. I mean, their son is older now, has got a great job, and he's married, and he's fine. And they're both retired. So, yeah. So he did what he had to do. And the next day, I was on my sofa, and I was just kind of chilling, and I had a podcast on. I can't remember what podcast it was, but in my mind, they came up in my brain. And long story short, I I was like, my eyes were closed and I'm like, And I said, I wonder if they're moving to Orlando because they used to live there like 12 or 13 years ago. And I said, I'm wondering if they're moving to Disney, like in and around, they're going to be around Disney World. Do you know the podcast I was listening to said Disney World at the same time I was thinking it? That is weird to me. And then I kept having more deja vu where I would be thinking something and the word would come out on a commercial. And this kept happening almost every other freaking day for 2 weeks straight. So what does Kim do? I call my brother because we're into things like this, right? And so my brother, we've been to a few UFO conventions and things like this. And I'm like, hey, bro, listen. Oh, he hates me to say bro. I don't use brother. He's like, and I told him what was happening. I said, I'm feeling weirded, kind of, well, not weirded, but I'm feeling like, why am I thinking things and it's saying it on the TV? I'm not typing anything. I'm not saying anything out loud. I'm thinking it. And the person that's on a podcast or something is saying that one word or two words that I was thinking. And I'm kind of like, what? So my brother's like, he goes, well, it sounds like the Mandela effect. I go, really? You think there's been a reset? He goes, well, here's my brother. He goes, what do you think it means? And I go, I think it means that right now, the frequency, I'm having some type of synchronicity going on in my brain, and it's coming up on the TV, or it's wild to me, right? I'm just like, okay, I'm in this frequency. It could be Mandela effect, I don't know, or it could just be I'm just syncing. Like, okay, I'm very powerful, and my third eye is working, and I can think something, and that person, that podcaster, is gonna say it. So I don't know. I haven't had the experience for the past 7 days. So it's whatever that was for those 2 weeks is gone now. So I don't know, something rained upon me. I don't know. I'm not sure why that. I have never have had that happen. I've had deja vu maybe once every 3 or 4 years, but I have never had that experience like that ever in my life. So it would be fun if it would happen again. Maybe it's really working my my telepathy or whatever. And I wish it was almost like a Star Wars type of thing, right? Where Luke would say something and the person would repeat it, or like Darth Vader type of thing. I love it. I don't know. It's very wild, but there's so many unexplained things. And that was just, I had to bring that up. So there's a little bit left for you, Truth Seeker. So I'm going to be shutting down this stream, and we'll see what happens in the next week. Maybe I will put out when I'm going to go live again. This is 10 or 11 o'clock is usually a pretty good time for me. And I can get things ready, run my errands, come back and do a stream. I am going to be going on my other channel, Kim's Tarot, and wrap some things up there. And you guys, I been talking about this case about David Burke. So somebody asked me to do that, but while I'm on, I may kind of run over there as well. Anyway, hey, this is April, guys. April 21, 2026. Where's it all going? I'm trying to figure it out. My gosh. So let's come back. Let's see where everyone is. You guys know where to find me on X. If you hear anything, Grant and Truth Seeker, if you hear, I see you guys on the messages at that portion over there, and I'm a little bit sleep deprived, just a little bit. I got to get used to, gosh, son now has to be at work at 4 a.m. and I'm a little bit sleep deprived because he's leaving like 3 a.m. and I'm just like, oof, oof. He's doing some interest. I don't know what he's doing. He's got the security clearance and they're saying you got to be at work at this time now. He's not really liking it, but I'm like, dude, just do it and, do your thing. So, but I'm sleep deprived. But anyway, guys, listen, thank you so much. We had my good friend Ghost, who lives in Slovenia. I've known him for several years, for like 6 years. And we met because we're interested in the UFOs. We've had Shelly come through. Thank you, Shelly, who had to leave early. We've had True Seeker. Hey, I really appreciate you so much. I see you now and then. And Grant also. The best time, I'm hoping everything is still good with Harold. The best time when I'm not in a coma, because I work weekends, would be like a Monday night or a Tuesday night. And those would be really good times. I could kind of slip in on Harold's, on his Google Meet, that type of thing. Ooh, James Fox, really? I have to check that out. Well, you can always message me, put that in there. Like I said, there's so much going on. It's hard to keep up with everything. Well, anyway, thank you guys. The stream has been going on for quite a while right now. Oh, they don't. Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to maybe get another cantina. I wish I could do it. I'm just, you guys would be highly disappointed in me because it would be just too much. So I have to come on my channel here. Got it. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Well, we shall see what happens. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. We're always going to catch up somewhere. And if it's not here, it'll be private messages. I think I have everybody's phone numbers. But anyway, all right, loves, take good care of yourself. Thank you for everybody that stopped by, and be good to yourself and others. Thank you. This is Kim, and I will come back, only if there's some good news, you guys, and let me know if anything goes on that you would like for me to talk about. And yeah, take care. Love to all. And we shall catch up soon. All right, guys. And other than that, yeah, I'm going to end the stream. You take care and we'll talk soon. All right. I'll see you in messengers and things like that on X. All right. Bye, guys. Take care. Bye.